running a clinical study, a lot of chaos can ensue. There's so much going on, especially in the beginning, as you're selecting which institutions you're going to use to participate in your study, and then you're training the institutions, and you're enrolling patients, and you know, you're making sure that each of these sites has all of the documentation that they need to comply with applicable regulations. There's a lot of chaos just innately involved in the best run studies. So I think what we bring in terms of control to a study is we quiet that chaos. We're very methodical in our approach. We know what needs to be done. We know how to work with sites and with sponsors to control that chaos in order to get to the end of that study. So compliance is key. I mean, you can think you're doing everything right in a study, but if you don't have your eye on compliance, at the end of the day, the FDA is not going to approve your device or your product or your drug or whatever it is that you're trying to get approved. So what we do is we come in as experts in the regulations. Our staff is thoroughly trained to have a foundation based in the regulations. They know what it is that they're doing. They know the framework within which we're required to work, and then they train. They train the sponsors, they train the sites. They're training innately in just what they do every single day. And in doing so, they have this added value of bringing compliance across the whole length of the study. It's awesome. It does take a lot of creativity to do this job, and you think about it as sometimes, you know, pushing papers or just filing things or whatever it is people have a perception about what we do. But most of us have come from the clinical setting. We have a lot of research coordinators that work here, a lot of people who have been there, done that, and who know how to think creatively to solve a problem. So that's what we do. You know, we've monitored at hundreds of sites. We've seen the best, we've seen the worst. We've seen sites come through, or sponsors come through, really difficult situations very well. And I think that takes creative problem solving to do. Competence is key, and again, back to the reason that IMARC was started in the first place. I mean, we have to go out there competent in our job. So much of what is happening out there in our industry is, I heard this, or so-and-so told me that. What we do is try to stop the proliferation of wrong information. We want to get it right. We're competent in the regulations. That is our expertise. We will have your back as far as compliance goes, and the reason why is because we train to that. We are very competent at our job, and it's essential to having a well-run, well-controlled clinical study. When we sign on to a project, we're committed to seeing it through to the end in a high-quality manner. Our first commitment is to our patients, you know, to the patients who are being enrolled in these clinical studies. Our commitment is to ensure that they are protected. A second commitment that we have is to the sponsors that have hired us. We are committing to them that we are going to do the best possible job we can to ensure a compliant study, to ensure a well-run study, and we'll bring it every day that we're working with them. To our sites, we're going to make sure that we're holding them to a standard of quality. We will commit to walk that walk with them and to help them